That's Blake and Brady. Okay. And there's a Macintosh.
Yeah. Welcome and good afternoon. Today is Wednesday, January 16th, and this is the City of Anderson Board of Architecture Review. Addenda?
Nothing else to add tonight.
Okay. We're moving right to the hearing. Item 1 on our list is not going to be heard tonight. Is that correct?
That is correct. The applicant has asked us to delay that application, and then he would call us and notify us when he's ready to come back.
Okay, so we'll move on to BAR 1901.
The applicant is seeking approval to replace the windows in the church office at 307 South Manning Street in the downtown historic district. The property is the home of First Baptist Church. The office has a number of windows that need to be replaced. The current windows are a combination of 6/6 and 8/8 gridded windows. All of the windows will be replaced with new clad double hung windows with matching exterior grids. The existing transom and other leaded windows will be refurbished by a qualified contractor. So those windows will be maintained, just refurbished instead of being replaced. When reviewing this application, the board should focus on the standards set forth in Chapter 5 of the Downtown Design Guidelines, design guidelines for individual building elements. Following sections apply to this request. The policy states that historic windows and doors significantly affect the character of the structure and should be preserved. You should preserve the position, number, size, and arrangement of historic windows. And when window replacement is necessary, match the replacement to the original design as closely as possible. The board must decide if the proposed changes meet the design guidelines. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have for staff, and the applicant is here tonight as well.
Well, it's what we've asked for, exterior grid. The double hung windows being retained, and they're going to refurbish the lights above the door. Do you have any comments or questions?
Wood windows, are they?
Yes, they are wood windows. In the packet, there's a descriptive material on the windows. Talking about on the interior, it'd be a wood pine finish on the windows. So they are wood windows, and they will be white on the exterior, similar to the trim color in the picture there.
It'll match exactly what they have.
Correct.
Correct?
Well, not exactly. I mean, these are the original windows on a beautiful historic building, an important building, a really, really nice building. So they won't be the same. What's the material that the exterior grid is going to be made out of? Is it going to be plastic, I suppose?
I would assume so, correct.
Okay, so you got plastic grids stuck on the outside of replacement windows, and you're going to get rid of beautiful original wood windows that have been there the life of the building, and with proper restoration could be there for 100 years more, and then the building would be original.
Any other comment?
Is there a problem with the current windows?
Yes, the window at the bottom right of the picture suggests that's one of the more obvious problems. There are storm windows outside the windows that we have, and they act like a greenhouse. The paint is baked underneath them. The windows are drafty. They are not, many of them are not able to be opened. And they've been refurbished time and again over the life of the building, and they're not efficient, so that's why we're seeking to replace them.
You know, also there are sources. To me, one of the issues is always, in a sense, how important is the building that you're talking about? What is warranted for each particular structure? If this was an unimportant building, maybe it wouldn't be such a big deal to put windows on it that have, plastic or aluminum, grids. Maybe that wouldn't be such a big deal. But when it's a really important building that actually is historic, that is worthy of preservation, that if this building was in Charleston, there's no way in the world that they would let you do that. Never, never, never. So my feeling is that if the windows really must be replaced because they are unrepairable, then they should be replaced in kind. And you can find sources to make windows that are exactly the same, made of wood, that will operate, that'll be original to what was thought of when the house was built. This was the house initially.
That's right.
Yeah. It's gorgeous. I hate the idea that, picture 10, 15 years from now, those plastic grids are going to break, they're going to crack, they're going to fall off. They will not last. And it's a disservice to the beauty of this fantastic building. That's my feeling. It's too harsh.
Would the use of interior storms be an option if these were restored? That would give you some.
Perhaps we have pursued that as an option.
It would be less money probably to redo these windows than it would be to replace them. And if you put the interior storms, it would take away that greenhouse effect. We all live in old houses, so we all deal with old windows.
understand.
And we would never replace our windows.
I have a question about, are they clear glass? Some of these newer ones have tinted glass, and you don't really notice it's pale green until you have it up next to, in between these beautiful leaded glass, and all of a sudden you go, whoa. I mean, that is something that I think, and it may be on here. I was trying to read the specs, and I'm not seeing.
It doesn't say. Doesn't say what.
Talked about the UV factor, and that's, I wondered if.
They're gas filled. It doesn't say the actual color of the glass.
I really appreciate the efforts to preserve the leaded glasses because they're gorgeous. My feeling is, I think with the beautiful old windows on either side, it's really going to make the new window show out the new window. That's my feeling on it, because those are so awesome, beautiful. When they're restored, just the way the light hits the glass, you're going to notice a difference with the new window. That's my opinion.
I will say that the building appears to have had several additions to it over time that are not original. As you look in the back, several places where it appears to be additions to the original structure, which would not be historic necessarily, and that the board has approved window replacement like this several times in the past.
I know I've talked so much about this, but I want to say one more thing. Whenever we've discussed this issue in the past, we've always come down to the idea that, yes, we do allow people to replace windows, even if they could be repaired. We allow that. But the caveat is that we have a different standard for an important building that is of historic significance than we do for a place that just isn't. And to me, this is one of those times where you have an important building. And if we do allow this to happen, I would feel so much better if you would commit to putting in windows that are in kind to what you're taking out. You can find a company that will make windows just like them. And they'll be wood, and you'll paint them, and they'll look very much like glass. If you committed to do that, I would reluctantly agree. I wouldn't be thrilled, but yes, I would agree.
I think the caveat you're referring to is not written in the policy that we looked at prior to this meeting. So I'm not sure how to navigate your caveat that I'm not familiar with, at least officially.
Do you see the regulation there? Yeah. Do you have the regulation?
I talked about window replacement should be in kind. The way we have treated that largely in the past is basically you replicate the grid pattern on the window, and we've allowed that as window replacement in the past.
With this ongoing argument that there is a different standard when it's an important building.
What he is saying is that is not a distinction that is made in the design guidelines.
The design guidelines say that the windows shouldn't be replaced at all if they can be repaired. But we have many, many times gone beyond that. But I think that when the building is important, then you can't do that. You can't go putting in vinyl windows with plastic grids on a truly important building. Otherwise, what are we sitting here for? What are we preserving? You can find windows at a little additional cost made of wood that replicate the exact same grid pattern, will look like the ones that are there. You don't need to put in some cheap Home Depot version of the same thing. I'm sorry to get it so hard. It's just, that's why we're here. I've been doing this for 10 years. I come here once a month and sit here. And sometimes you have to say what you believe, because why else would you come?
I appreciate your work, and I don't think you're being harsh at all. The issue I think I would have is that the caveat that is driving you is not stated in the guidelines.
It is. Maybe you didn't get the whole package.
I have the whole packet in my office, and I was not familiar, and Jeff didn't refer me to any caveat that refers to an especially important historic building.
That's when it's necessary, match it.
Again, the principle has been that in our guidelines, it says very clearly, windows are important to these old structures. Extremely important, not just negligible, but important. So they shouldn't be ripped out and thrown out in favor of new ones when only in the most extreme cases where the window can't be fixed, where the wood's falling to bits, where it's rotted, termite damage, those kinds of things. That's what our guideline is. Now, we don't impose that guideline strictly because in many cases it wouldn't be such a big deal if the building isn't important, if it's not a truly historic site. There's many times where it really is, like for instance, on the back side of your building. If that's what you're replacing, it would have no problem. It's not historic, it's not super important. But look at the side of this place. It is gorgeous. It's just beautiful. It's the kind of thing that motivates and makes my little heart go pity-pat because it is fantastic. So that's why I'm carrying on.
Any further discussion?
Would it be something you would consider to have the 5 windows that we see here restored, and maybe we could look at replacement, like you said, on the back side? Would that be something you might be interested in?
We'll consider what the board tells us to consider. We're not going to go against what you decide, and I'll take whatever you recommend beyond what you rule back to the committee that I work.
Would it be wise, or would you all be willing perhaps to table this till the next meeting, and taking this information back to your committee, look into some of the things that have been suggested, and as it was mentioned, it might end up being a much more economical way to do what you're doing. Also, the storm windows on the inside and different refurbishing these, a combination. Maybe would that be a way to proceed?
One other suggestion is if you are replacing these windows, even with wood windows, they typically come out now where they are double pane, gas filled, even in wood. They have a spacer in between there. So you would no longer need storm windows. The efficiency for your heating and cooling would be there.
It's true that the storm windows would be a solution if you kept the windows that are here.
Yes.
And refurbish them.
Just the way the light hits the windows, because they're individual panes, the sunlight hits them, I mean, it's one big piece of glass behind the grids. The light reflects differently, and this is such a gorgeous building. I would hate to see it lose that character.
They're having big grid.
But it's not individual pieces of glass.
Oh, it, oh.
Not true divided line.
Not true divide.
If it's,
These probably have wavy glass. or some
Probably
kind of
so.
old
Are
glass
these wavy glass?
that you cannot replace.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, in the past, glass was not made as perfectly in the past as it is now, so it has defects, and when you look at the inside, it has all kinds of irregularity there. It's beautiful.
Beautiful.
But what are your thoughts on another alternative opposed to refurbishing these? We don't know the conditions. Great possibility of doing with pre-divided line window. As an additional alternative.
If you,
I was hearing refurbish
Right,
yeah,
as opposed to refurbish.
right.
it would not be energy efficient because the gas-filled windows are single pane with one piece of trim all around them as far as I've seen.
No, I have true divided lights, and they're insulated.
Yeah.
Okay.
it is true that getting wood windows that are this customized won't be really cheap. It won't be the cheapest option. It's not something you can just get at Lowe's. You're going to have to track down the source and have somebody professional give you a quote.
That's what we've included in the proposal.
Yeah.
These are $700 windows, that we have included in the proposal, the $40,000 project as proposed. These are not cheap windows that we're requesting that you approve.
Further discussion? Do we want to table this?
What do you think? Do you want to go back to your board and have discussions more?
If the board said to me that you want the facade of, we've got 50 windows in this building. We've got a room that's window right next to window, all this age, with the exception of the addition. If you told me you want those 5 windows and the windows around the door to be refurbished, we would go with that. That is such a small percentage of the cost of the project as proposed. I feel confident in saying, if that's what you came back to me to say, that's what we're requesting of you, I would take that back to them and say, this is what they told us we need to do, and we would do it. We didn't come, we checked off several other possibilities in our proposal in favor of windows that we thought the board might find more appealing. And maybe it's the case that you find them more appealing on the sides and the back of the building than you do at the facade, and I understand that. You want to table it, I'll go back to them and we can get an amended proposal, or if you tell me what you want me to do, I'll make sure that we are in a position to do it before we get any work. This is not an imminent project. You won't be putting anything on hold. If we table it for a month, we were seeking permission for when we decide to do it.
Well, let me throw something out there. If they agree to preserve the windows on the front facade of the building and use the new modern windows in the rest of the building, would you be in favor of that?
Yeah.
Would you be in favor of that?
Either refurbishing the existing windows or replacing the true divided light windows on the front?
True divided native wood that really seriously mimics the ones that are there now.
Can we be clear that when we say the front, that's talking about 5 windows, but we're not seeing a side view, but probably there are windows right on the sides of the brick part.
Well, on the sides, you've got the, there's an addition on the side that faces the road. So there are some windows above, which is difficult to get a shot of.
That's,
Right before, is it just brick before the, this addition starts, if you're looking at it from the
Does
side?
the building have brick on the side before you get to the addition?
Is there a window on that, you know what I'm
Perhaps
asking?
on the left-hand side under the, what to say?
I mean, around the corner, is that what you're talking about?
Well, like the porte cochere that you're talking
Right.
about, you wouldn't want to drive through there and,
To the left of the
and be
building.
looking at a window on the front that's restored and a window right, at a right angle to it.
yeah, these are much more modern windows there.
Is this a total side view, or is this just the? Because it looks like at the top corner, you can
Picture that you've got
do that right there.
in your hand on the top there, Jim, that's what's behind the addition that he's showing you.
Right, that's behind.
That faces, another building in the church. He's standing, adjacent to Market Street to take these pictures. We're in the corner of Market and Manning.
And so this is the other side of the building, the other front of the building. So where we're looking, this is what's to the right. So basically, everything on the first floor on the street side of the building is this addition. And it's hard to get pictures from, this is from the other side, but on the second floor, there's brick and some windows on the second floor on that street side. This is the opposite side facing towards the church itself, but it was hard to get a picture just because of the angles. You can see a little bit here with the windows up above.
So there's,
From the street level, basically on that side, all you're seeing is this addition. And, I mean, at the side of the building, maybe you're down the street a ways and you're coming up, you probably can see the windows a little bit, but if you're anywhere close to the building, it's difficult to see that second floor set of windows there on the street side.
I think my concern was seeing the front of a window in the brick, and then on the side, seeing a different kind of window in the brick. And it appears that, can you show the picture of the front that we have been looking at most? There's no window in the brick on,
Oh, a window facing Market Street, no.
that,
Thank you, sorry, I didn't understand your question initially. No, there's no window facing toward the right.
that's in brick.
Right,
But, and on the left-hand side, though, there is,
that's correct.
but it's behind
On a porch.
the porch, so you don't see them at the same time. To me, it would be nice to have all the ones that are completely surrounded by brick
The same.
the same. I don't have a problem as much with what's clearly an addition, but if it's surrounded by brick, that clearly is the original house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other photo with
The side.
with the walkway, how many additional windows we're talking?
Oh, which picture?
The one with the walkway on the left-hand side of the building.
three, looks like 6 full size, 2 shorter ones. Is that right? 6 full size and 2 shorter ones?
I would think that from here back, maybe an addition as well onto that original building.
Okay,
That's the kitchen.
that's the kitchen. So we're talking 3 at the ground level. And how do you feel about this upper window here, right at the back corner?
So,
The door.
1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3, 4 up top.
Yes, okay, 4. So 7 windows. Yeah, one over there.
And what is the door? Is that
That's the door.
It's like a wooden door.
with a transom.
Front door.
So in essence, what we're talking about then is what can we do to get the very best result in the original brick structure that is so impressive? So my feeling was that what really, really set me off was the facade. But if everybody is thinking that it's really the whole original brick structure all the way around it that needs to be protected and done well, I'm thrilled with either way. Either way is okay for me. It's a wonderful building, and it should be treated with kid gloves.
Amanda, are you okay with either way?
I think I am. After seeing this, I was concerned that you might be looking at a new window and an old window at the same
At the same time?
time, but it doesn't appear that you do, so.
It's set back and the additional walkway
And-
here that's
and
been
the
added
other
on.
ones,
I mean,
yeah.
with the final, well,
It's undercover.
and it's already got serious modifications inside of the building that, you know, I think foregoing that additional requirement, the side windows would be
So,
concentrating on front and back.
so do we have a motion?
I guess I could.
Okay.
So I would move that we approve their plan for replacing the windows in this whole project with the change that the windows that are on the front facade of the original brick structure be either refurbished and kept original or replaced with windows that are wood, that are in kind, custom matched to the shape of the windows that they're removing.
We have a second.
True divided.
Through divided line.
We have a second from Mary Lou. Any further discussions? Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you for your assistance and patience, sir.
That's for
Yes.
sure.
Yes.
Next, we'll move on to VAR 1902.
Okay. Need to recuse myself from this because it is my.
The applicant is requesting approval for a new fence and building addition at 106 Webb Street. The property is a single-family residence in the West Side Historic District. Mr. Johnson's house on our board. The applicant is seeking to install 90 feet of 6-foot-high wooden stockade fencing. The fencing would run along Cates Alley from the corner of the property towards Webb Street. From this corner of his property down the street. The applicant would also like to reconstruct the previously removed bathroom onto an existing structure at the rear of the property. This is the structure as it is now. The new addition would be in this location here. Another picture of it here. The addition would match the existing structure in terms of siding material, roofing materials, and colors. This is the building as it sits today. And so it would be added on to this end of the structure here. When reviewing this application, the board should focus on the standards set forth in Chapter 4 and 5 of the Residential Design Guidelines. The first policy states to design a new addition to be compatible with the primary structure. Now, when constructing the addition, do not obscure, damage, destroy, or remove significant architectural details. The addition should be compatible in scale with the primary structure, should be compatible in character with the primary structure, should use building materials that are compatible with those of the primary structure, and should use windows that are similar in character to those of the main structure. In terms of the fence, Policy states that a fence or site wall should be in character with those used traditionally and relate to the principal structure on the lot. Where no fence exists, keeping the yard open may be the best approach for a front yard. Where a new fence is needed, it should be similar in character with those seen historically. Appropriate materials include wrought iron or wood picket, and a side yard fence should be set back from the primary facade of the home. The board must decide if the proposed improvements meet the above criteria, and of course, the applicant is here tonight to answer questions.
Thank you, Jeff. The stockade fence, the drawing, it looks like it's in the back right corner of the
Yes.
property.
Yes.
Pretty far back, well behind the house, back to the driveway or the alleyway.
Driveway, and there's a picket fence that leads back to the beginning of the stockade.
Where's the picket fence in relation to?
It runs all the way here. It runs in front of the house,
Okay.
all the way along, and all the way there.
There is some fencing in this location already that would be replaced with the new fence. So there's some older fencing here now. So you see the structure, the front of the structure as it sits now. This fencing would be replaced with the new fencing that's being proposed.
I see. Do you have a copy of the photo with the picket fence portion?
Do not. So this looks like
Bill, how are they gonna marry up?
The picket fence is 42 inches high. It's on top of a granite rubble wall, which was original, and the picket fence was put back in the original post hole places.
Okay.
This shows the picket fence right there. You see the end of the original granite wall, and these boulders I put along the property line there, cars from driving in my yard, they'll be removed. And the stockade fence will butt up tight to the picket fence, but it will be about 2.5 feet higher than the picket fence because there's a granite wall down below the home.
Will it be an automatic jump up to the 6 foot, or will it be a panel of?
I can do either way the board wants.
We've done some of that before, you can marry that to the existing fence, a panel of an angle.
Tapered fence?
Yeah.
May I interrupt for just one quick second? If we could adjust the microphones a little bit, they're having a hard time picking the sound stuff.
Very good, thanks, Jeff. All right, so we were talking about a panel, sloping it up.
Sloping it up to the height of the stockade fence. I'd be glad to do that.
Okay. And the stockade fence is gonna be stained, painted, what?
Originally, I'm gonna let it age out.
Mm.
A few years down the road, may decide to paint it white to match the picket fence.
Okay. All right, questions, go ahead. Yeah, sure, yeah, by the fence.
I remember when I put in my fence at my house, that I went through a good amount of hoopla over the regulation we have, that all of the fences need to be painted or stained, so that they look appropriate to what an old fence looked like in a historic district. So I did that, and I'm thrilled that I did, because it's been beautiful all this time. But I've noticed in the last couple of years, when we approve fence designs for people, for instance, across the street from my house, Purple House, where we have had that great big stockade fence around it, we've let people put in stockade fences that are not painted at all. I'm thinking it's looking a little bit 1960s ugly compared to a painted fence that ages, looks historic. Isn't it in our regulations that we're supposed to have fencing be painted? I believe it is.
Sealed in some manner, and I think it would depend on the material probably, you know, whether, how it's gonna season, use pressure treated wood versus another wood. I think a lot of times we've allowed people to use like a clear coat stain or some kind of covering on it, but I don't think it says in there that it has to be painted. So.
I thought that it did.
I'm not opposed to painting it. I would like to only paint the outside because I like the wood to breathe. But I'd paint the outside crisp linen, which matches the existing fence up there, and the trim on the house, and the trim on the servants' quarters in the back. I'm okay with that.
And if you're willing to modify accordingly, that addresses that issue. Anything else to the fence? Walk us through the addition to the back house.
Okay. Okay. Originally, the house was, this was a servant's quarters built in 1910. It did not have a bathroom on it. Shortly after the houses were constructed, there was two of these servants' quarters. The outhouses were taken away, and they built a bathroom onto each one of the servants' quarters. The other servants' quarter was a flipped floor plan, which no longer exists. This bathroom did have a shed-type roof on it, single layer. It looked really bad. I actually have a photograph of that. Around 1969 or 70, one of the previous owners, that room was so rotted, he tore it off. And the existing door is still visible, which I still use that door to get in and out. There, and I would like to recreate that bathroom, but instead of putting a shed roof on it, I would like to match the tin roof on the rest of the servants' quarters building. It's not 5V, it's what is commonly known as farm grade roofing, which has exposed fasteners on it. There would only be one window. I'll have to look and try my best. I'm sure I can find an old wood window this size. They're not very big. And if I can find that window, that'll go in there. That's the only change to it.
And how are we going to match the tin roofing? Because it looks like pretty aged tin roof currently.
Okay.
How are we going to match that up?
I painted that roof a few years ago. The roof was originally silver, then it was painted black, then it was painted red, and it became somewhat rusty, so I found a historic dark color, which is, actually it's a green, but it looks black, from Charleston Historic Paint Colors, and I put a good coat of oil-based paint on that roof to preserve it, and I've done some repairs to it. And the new roof would be painted to match the same color.
But are you going to be able to find similar tin?
Oh, yeah, I can buy tin.
Okay, that would match as far as...
Perfectly.
Okay.
Yes. If you look in this photograph here, you'll see the door on the end of the building.
Right.
That used to lead into the bathroom.
Yeah. Similar material, the still not overpowering as an out structure from the house. Step down with roof line. Any concerns, comments, questions?
I think it's a wonderful example of using the same materials and keeping it true to that.
Now
Commend
the
you.
clapboard siding, I have to manufacture that. I have not been able to find it, but I can take existing modern siding and recut it to match that siding, which I've done on the front of the building.
Excellent. Very good. All right, is there a motion? A motion from Jill, a second from Mary Lou. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, sir. Next on to BAR 1903. Jeffrey.
The applicant is seeking approval for new paint and signage for the building at 402 South Main Street in the Downtown Historic District. The property is a new home of Simply Country Chic. The applicant is seeking to add a new accent color for the front of the building. You can see in this photo here. The cornice, and then the white around the windows would be the new color that's being added in the diamond shape medallion spot there. Would be the white trim that they're requesting to add to the front of the building. The body of the building will remain the same. They would also like to add a new projecting sign on the front of the building. A routed HDU sign, similar to signs that we have approved in the past in terms of the material. Be hanging off the existing sign arm that's already on the front of the building. They would also like to do some vinyl graphics on the building, so you'd have on the front door the hours in a vinyl vinyl graphic. And then on the bottom right window, you'd have this vinyl graphic, which is another business that the applicant has as well. They would have a sign for that business in that same location as well. So that'd be a vinyl graphic on the window. So you have vinyl graphic on the door, and then the projecting sign, again, the Rapid HDU sign on the front of the building. The signs as proposed do meet the standard CBD sign requirements. When reviewing this request, the board should focus on the standards set forth in Chapter 8 of the Downtown Design Guidelines, which are design guidelines for signs, and Chapter 10, design guidelines for colors. Following policies apply. The first policy states to design a sign to be in balance with the overall character of the property. Appropriate signs include the projecting sign that is being considered, and the sign should be in character with the material, color, and detail of the building. In terms of colors, there's two guidelines. The first says to use colors that tie together the entire storefront. Owner of the building came and got approval for the paint color scheme. This one was supposed to be green.
Have one. There we go. Bring that down. All right. So basically, the existing trim around the windows and below the windows is going to be painted the white and then the top.
Yes.
So we just simply painting what's already there. Looks good.
Yeah, it's real good.
You know, working with the architectural details of the building and the signage, material designs that we've previously approved. The vinyl graphics to really more for information. Is there any plans for illumination external?
Not that I'm aware of at this time.
Well,
Yeah, we hope to, where the two chains go back,
right.
to put some LEDs under there directly out at the sign.
And the reason we mention that is now would be the time to get that approval. We're looking for it down the line. And what might those lights be? Just simple little lights?
I was hoping to put something on the building with the pole right now is a swinging type pole, it's just pinned.
Right.
With it moving, I didn't want to have to run a wire through there that over time could be flexing the whole entire time. When I talked to the electrician on the way here, hoping that maybe right about where the chains tie in, the two little lights that would beam out just in time. Try to keep them as conspicuous as we can.
So small lights mounted on the wall
Right.
itself, and then shining the light.
Yeah. Making sure to have it at an angle, not blinding any traffic.
Yeah. Maybe even get them, if we have to paint them the same color as the building, just to disappear almost.
That would be fine, or even black would work. All right. With that, and would you like to have that included in your application tonight? All right. So with that addition for possible down the road, the lighting, thoughts, comments, concerns?
Be a wonderful addition.
Motion? I have a motion from Amanda, second from Bill. Anything further? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, sir. Welcome to downtown. And finally tonight, BAR 1904.
The applicant is requesting approval for multiple changes to the building at 210 North Main Street in the Downtown Historic District. The property is an office building formerly known as the Johnson Building. The applicant is seeking to make the following changes. On the front of the building, the front page of Main Street here, they're seeking to remove the existing awnings, repaint the building, a two-tone paint scheme, but only two-tone on the front. The rest of it would just be a single color. So the lighter color is called nuance, and that would be here. And then on the rest of the building, the darker color is gray matter, and that would just be on that front portion of the building, front right portion of the building. That's to accentuate some of the brick design that you see on the front here. That's a little different than what we normally have downtown. Replacing the windows, be single hung windows with black trim, and a double door accessing a balcony, and adding a balcony as well on the front. The balcony would be similar to one that's right around the corner from this building. It'd be an iron balcony with the wire that you see there. That's similar to the effect they're trying to get on, to be on the front and on the rear facade as well.
And that's where?
It's around the corner from this building, so it's one that's already in existence, but I'm not.
I think it's in that first picture, Jeff, you could see it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so that's the,
Yeah.
300
Okay.
North Main Street
Okay.
building, I guess.
The old Duke Howard building.
Right.
That has the State Farm and the bank in it.
Right.
The right-hand side of the building, which faces Figs. This is how it looks today. What they're looking to do there, again, paint the building the lighter of the two colors, and replacing the 6 windows that you see here. 6 light windows with black trim, they would be solid windows, they would not open, so. And on the rear facade, this is the rear facade as it sits today. And then what they're seeking to do there, again, replace the windows, paint the building. Again, double door, accessing a balcony. This would become a rear, recessed entryway, which is not now, it's flush with the back wall. I believe it's a fiberglass door now, and they're looking to do more of a steel security door, in place of that. And then on the alley side, or Orr Street side, this is what you have now, all the window air conditioners and the windows. Again, replacing the windows, painting it white. They are doing a new HVAC system, so the window air conditioner should go away. So that would be an improvement with just that. Also, dealing with lighting, they are looking to do some, I'll pass this around because it's a little easier to see, but some lighting effects on the building. That you see there, and this is the type of light that they're seeking to promote on the building. When reviewing this request, the board should focus on the standards set forth in Chapter 5 and Chapter 6 and Chapter 10 of the design guidelines. The following policies apply. First policy is to maintain an historic storefront and all of its character-defining features. Talks about some of the items that are included with that. If the storefront is altered, it should be restored to its original design. Alternative designs that are contemporary interpretations may be considered. Going forward in Chapter 5, the policy states that historic windows and doors significantly affect the character of the structure and should be preserved. Should preserve the position, number, size, and arrangement of windows and doors in the building wall. And then finally, Article 10, once again, use colors to tie together the entire storefront. And when choosing a color, consider the context or major colors on the surrounding building. Again, happy to answer any questions that you have for staff, and the applicant is here tonight as well.
Very good.
The picture again of the building as it is now.
So this is as it is now. So you have several awnings on there. So you'd be adding the balcony, converting that to a double door, window replacement, and then painting on the front, so the darker color on the right-hand side and the lighter color on the left-hand side.
Are those windows, are the windows that are in there now, are those wooden or vinyl? What are those?
It would.
They're wood.
very attractive, as all the projects you brought before us. All right, let's take this in sections, because there's an awful lot to consider. First and foremost, the front facade. Removing awnings, probably no real concerns there. Of course, the issue probably most pressing is painting the brick.
Yes.
Let's discuss it. Thoughts?
Well, right around the corner, there was a building, it was beautiful brick. And over the weekend, a couple of months ago, they painted it, and without asking permission, and everybody, it's on Earl Street, and it adjoins, the back of McIntosh. So they painted it the same color, so it looks like it's part of McIntosh. That was just, so sad to me. It's not a bad color, but it was beautiful brick. It was in good condition, and the building was small so that there were no additions going to be made to it or anything. This building has just, I'm so thrilled that it's going to be utilized and rehabbed, and the window air conditioners taken out. Apparently that's been the big reason no one's taken on the project. To do that, and adding recessed doors in the back, new windows, it would be hard, it's going to cause some disruption in the brick, and it would be hard to replace that brick. I think it would be hard to rehab this without messing up the brick. And so what are you going to do? Paint it to make it look all one color. That's my feeling. Normally, I would just go.
The painting of the brick fits with the overall design of the upfit, the updating with windows that are appropriate and usable to help put this building back into use. The discussion regarding balcony. It is a cohesive design. I understand painting brick, and there's some reluctance. Go ahead.
It's one of the few buildings we have left downtown that is unpainted, and I personally like it. I think it is part of the character of that building, and it changes. This building looks like it's changing so much that it seems to me to be stripping away that, I mean, we don't have many unpainted brick buildings downtown.
Plus, the way the brick is looking.
On the front, go on the front.
Can you put the picture in the picture? It's so good.
Facade out there.
Details in it. The details, the different color bricks that make stripes in the.
Stripes, yeah.
Sorry, it's actually the same color brick, it's just the color that
The way the light
the light's hitting it.
The light will hit the painted the same way.
Consider keeping that side, the dark, this proposed as dark gray, keeping that brick the way it is. Just paint the red. But keeping that side is painted.
Jeff, the side view,
The original brick color, the way it is.
Right.
the
Just clean it out.
Orchard Street side view, can you put it up there?
Like a
Orchard Street side view.
it has the stripes on the side too.
But the stripes are created by the laying of the brick and the mortar.
It's the way that they're laid, because they're like straight down instead of staggered.
It's a stack pattern, and part of the brick is a running bond.
Stripe going down the.
Actually turns the corner, that point, and then you change its elevation. That corner that you're looking at with the stripes, a nice area too. Wouldn't mind keeping that. The first two, everyone can zoom out.
To where the roof
From
line
there
drops down.
Towards Main, yes, which is a nice detail.
So
Then the rest, yes, that and the rest.
It looks like those windows, I mean, can you not get windows that just fit right in those openings? I mean, would you have to mess up the brick?
No, we're not gonna redo the brick. We're not gonna, the windows are gonna be the same size.
Right,
We're not moving any window other than reconfiguring the balcony.
right,
Windows, I mean, the windows, they're coming in the back.
right.
But the windows are gonna be the same shape the same size and the same pattern.
So it wouldn't disturb the brick.
No,
Yeah.
only in the front.
Can we look one more time at the front facade picture?
That's just cool.
It's so gray. And when you take away those ridiculous,
Awnings.
Thanks.
and bring out that sort of deco quality.
Yeah, it's a lot of deco.
It's beautiful. I would be thrilled if you kept the front facade unpainted
Yes.
and around the corners to that point that you talked about.
I looked at that.
And do whatever you must for the rest of it. I'd be happy with that.
Yeah.
That's why I want those, the wall wash, that central area. The light just to enhance that vertical
Yeah,
brick design.
very cool. It's gonna look
That would-
wonderful.
That would alleviate the problem. Amanda mentioned that you're gonna recess the door. If the back part of the building is painted, then you can still paint that part and make
Yeah.
that change.
And it looks like where the elevation of the roof changes, it's recessed a foot or something.
No, it's on the same plane. Yeah.
It's,
Only the top of the, no, it's
On the side.
almost on the same plane.
Yeah.
It just seems like the shadow enhances that.
Oh, okay.
But it's a really nice great detail.
I mean, it's-
Great.
It looks like this brick is darker than the others.
It's really good.
Cool building.
The brick seems to be in amazingly good condition on the front facade. Looks fabulous.
But, I mean, part of the design is also to replace the windows and do front doors open onto a balcony.
So are the window frames just gonna be dark?
Dark, yes. Dark window.
Black or dark bronze or black.
Dark bronze, nearly black.
Bronze would look fantastic.
Yeah, dark bronze, yes.
Yeah, that would be excellent. Wow.
And it looks like on the upper window where you're gonna put a door, I guess. I don't know if you can hear me. The way the brick comes down on the sides, it would be easy to take out the brick that you need to remove without, y'all see what I'm saying?
Yeah, because it's straight
It's a
down.
straight line down.
Yeah, we're gonna come
It
in,
wouldn't disturb the other brick.
Right.
yes, we're trying to keep the balcony door the same width as that. Not to disturb those vertical lines.
The opening stays.
He was gonna stay the same.
The width of the opening, but it's gonna become a door.
Down.
Right.
The front entrance has a sort of cover, you don't see it here, under that canopy behind it. Kind of a rounded, protruding slab or something. Really decorative looking, that rounded corner, which we're keeping, as part of the proposed, elevation. So it's got a little projection right above, we see a little bit of the underside of it. But we're keeping that the way it is, that right there. That round, that really nice rounded corner, it's very decorative.
Good.
And then the door will have a new frame that would match
So
the
this
windows.
door will, we may keep this door now, the owner. wants to keep it.
Would it be bronze to match the windows?
If it were, yes,
If it were to be changed out.
yes, of course, yes,
It has clean lines. If it was bronze and it matched, it would fit.
yes. So that's the door.
Right.
The pattern.
All right, so where are we on the front of the building?
Oh, we could, I think we should keep the brick until it wraps around the corner, where it's getting more detail, then from that point back, paint. And
Okay,
Can we look at the side
sure.
view again?
Little side street there again.
Of
Yeah,
the original one?
Street view. Bring the photo.
There's a break there.
Yeah.
That break in the,
Yeah.
up high.
Right.
Up to that point.
Up at the top.
From here forward would not be painted.
Correct.
Will not be painted.
So if we're screwing up your paint, scheme, does that mean that you want to keep going with the colors that we're approving, or do you want to choose new colors that go with the existing brick?
Just want to use the lighter color.
I think the lighter color would be more appropriate.
It's a nice color. It would
I
go
like
with
the dark color, but most people don't like dark color.
I'm with you.
Be offensive. But I like the dark gray, for me.
I'm with you on the dark.
I am too.
The dark.
The dark.
The pale color is fine too, the pale gray. You can even see it on the proposed elevation, how those two windows have a different detail in between them as the rest of the building.
Maybe there's places where you could even continue to use the two-tone, because they are really nice colors together.
Okay, what about the light fixtures or the light concept, lighting concept?
Go on. I think the lighting is very nice.
Yeah.
You know,
It's just one thing, though, that this is very modern lighting, not historic type lighting.
well, but I mean, if you're looking to accentuate the deco features of it and the way the light's being projected, I think that's all very consistent. And there are also very simple lights.
Very simple.
Kind of like theater lighting
Mhm.
on the outside of a movie theater or something.
The windows in the balcony, as far as material, any concerns there?
Nope.
Okay. And then on the Orr Street side, there would be a change in the windows. Any concerns with that? In shape and dimension?
Not when
All windows will be
the
the
same.
same size.
I'm sorry, there may be,
Only the balcony, you know.
Right, the only window openings that are changing are the ones that are gonna become doors for the balcony. All the
Okay.
other openings.
yeah, the other openings are,
Have the
okay,
same size.
all right, very good. All right, by my checklist, I think we've covered all the aspects. My suggestion is like a motion to, get a motion to approve that it include either color, the dark or the light. You know, be able to see what's gonna work best for you. All right, any further questions? What's being proposed here? Andy? Okay, is there a motion?
Make a motion that we approve the paint with keeping the front of the building and around the two sides to the designated change, bare brick, and approve both choices of colors for the remaining part of the building. All the windows being converted to the proposed windows, and the balconies being approved. Got everything covered?
I think so.
And the lighting.
The lighting,
And
yes.
the lighting.
Is there a second?
No second.
Second from Andy. Question on my part. The Orr Street side of the building, where you make the turn, I know you've got the adjacent, in the front of the building. Yeah. On the other, where, the other building that's just recently come before us.
On the front side.
Front facade. On the right-hand side of the front facade, do we have the other building marries right up to it, is that correct? Or is there a setback?
The building, so,
With the white brick?
Sway Boutique
That's right.
is set back a little bit.
So what do you think? Any turn of the unpainted brick or just paint? If there's no logical place to,
I think it should be all brick on that side, I think it should continue to be brick.
Yeah.
Up to the turn.
okay, on the turn. But what about above Plum Suede? Is there another drop off in the roof line on that side of the building as well?
No.
There's not. I didn't think so.
Is that sort of a plane that gets more,
Okay,
less
but
ornate?
there's a variation, it appears from,
Original drive.
The brick changes.
but you see, where the brick changes right below the, ridge cap? Maybe that small, to the front of the building, Jeff, right there.
Only to that point, see that, the change is right there.
Yeah.
That's it.
So maybe keeping, unpainted brick until it changes.
Yes.
Okay.
Keep that break, the high portion, then they'll work.
That's the clarification we need, thank you. All right, so we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Good work. That concludes the public hearing portion of the meeting. We'll now move to the review and approval of the minutes from the December meeting. Teresa's not here, but we always note and appreciate all the work she does for us. Had an opportunity, is there a motion to approve? A motion from Jill, second from Mary Lou. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Anything further tonight? All right, then a motion to adjourn. Thank you, Amanda. Second, Andy. All in favor? We are adjourned.